Sort of grew up not knowing much about the war. It still affects sort of today the history of Nazi Germany and Poland and why we went through that. I'm not really into world history. It's just sitting around too much. You just think about yourself too much, why things aren't working out. When you're busy and things are working out, you don't worry about it. You're just doing it, which is the best way to be. That's why it's good to support other people, not worry about the past or the history, because we're all the same. We're all people. But, I don't know why people get their nose out of joint about things that own stuff. It's all about sort of greed in a way. Sort of owning too much, like there's so much out there. Like you can sit under a tree for someone to come along and say, that's my tree, It's like, there's a billion others. Just go sit under another one. The tree doesn't care. But I'm not having a go at you, but the Jews really invaded Poland, muscled in. They didn't really have to. They could have gone somewhere else. Poland looked probably the easy option. It was nice, industrial, built well and everything. Really, the Jews should probably have gone like, I would say somewhere like past India, down towards Asia and settled in along there. What's down there? Is it Saudi Arabia or somewhere down there? But maybe it looked too dangerous, too hard, so they went to Poland, which is probably worse. You got the Poles. So they defected to Germany, become Nazis, and then attacked the Jews. So, to get their country back. So really, the Nazis aren't that bad. It's just they'll look bad the way they did it. Take them out of the Jews out of Poland, but the Jews never come from Poland. They're more, Middle Eastern. But by then they'd sort of gone everywhere up around towards France and all up along there. That sort of moved across to Poland and I guess to the Polish. They look like they're trying to take over Russia or something. And Poland is like, because we got a lot of Russians, excuse me, a lot of Russians now sort of living here, like running the motor groups and that kind of thing. They're not very nice to the Jews, So I get muscled into that group. I'm not really Jewish. I'm more Polish than the Poles. I'm more Transylvanian, which is more Polish. It's more like, we look a bit like Darkwing Duck or something, like, I know my friend Adam was Polish, and he looked like a little batfink sort of guy. And we're that different. I mean, he come from the other side of it, the more evil side. He was obsessed with evil. He's like the root of all evil and sort of driven into him to be a bad bikie, whereas I was more, did that too long ago. I didn't want to repeat. I was more into hippie culture. So I would have been a hippie through all that and started the hippie movement. But I was sort of dead in a way. I wasn't really there. I was like being murdered 2,000 years ago. I just had my spirits taking care of me to bring me back now. I was so badly crucified, I couldn't remember my life. But before that, I was immortal. I was a god all through that time, Before all that, forever just about. But a period before that, I was chucked in this cabin thing for about 6 million years or something, just stuck in a cabin. And it was almost like to wear me down till I was a son of God, not God himself, but just a person, So there's images that come up on my thing of someone's put them together. It's a picture of a cabin, and they're sort of nestled in nature, so you sit in there and you can't get out, but you can't die. So you sit there eating grubs and worms and you don't want to die. But you can drink the water off the ceiling, and I don't know how many millions of years I was in there, just stuck in there sitting. All my family are in the other ones. They all got killed. They died because they weren't immortal. without me, you know. So they lost contact with me and died, and I had to sit there hearing them scream. And so when I got out, I was taken away, and I was reborn Jesus, and then, you know, I was put up on the cross as a 5-year-old, and I could hear my family screaming because they were crucified behind me. And Dad was up the top. He died. He never really knew what happened to us. So he died before everyone else. He thought we'd all get crucified. So he went to heaven or died or whatever, thinking we would all be crucified. But I pulled my hands off the cross, got my family down. I got taken away to be a centurion. And I was estranged from my brother, who was known as Jesus, the son of man. So he never knew about me either, really, till later on, after I'd grown up. Because he was just a little boy as well, taken away. So by the time he got back, I was gone. Dad was dead. He'd walk around saying my father's in heaven and all this. And then eventually, later on, he got crucified. Then I got back, and they found out about me. And Judas came over and kissed my cheek and said, "You're the son of the God, aren't you?" You know, saying, you know, I was the son of my brother or something. He was sort of confused about the whole thing. And I don't really blame anyone, you know. It's a stupid thing to do, locking someone in a cabin just because they're a god. And what we lost there was the world now would have been all repaired like the Jetsons. But it sent the world back to the time before I was put in that cabin, about 6 million years. So the world was seeded back about 6 million years back to now, which is what the world was like now, about 6 million years ago. So we're just verging on computers, stuff like that. There's probably videos somewhere of us somewhere. It would have been in the UFO ships that were sent out. It's a funny timeline. Everyone thinks it's just one thing that happened, but there's all these reasons why it happened, you know. It wasn't just crucified because you're born. They knew who I was when I was born. The wise men that put me in the cabin come over and chop my dick off, you know, the end of my dick. So I'd end up a saviour and walk around worrying about everything. It's a stupid thing to do to a kid, castrate them. Glans penis their dick, you know, just so they have a knob on it instead of a straight dick. I did that to Jewish people. Well, I wasn't really Jewish, you know. Not really. I mean, my father might have been, but my mother wasn't. Well, more from the north, Transylvanian. My dad was more Middle Eastern, so I got stuck in the middle of this sort of Polish-Jewish thing. And I probably was the one that brought the Jews to Poland, being related to both. You know, Mum was more on the Polish, Dad was more on the Jew. So that's my fault, the whole conflict, without really being my fault. It's just cause and effect. So it's probably why I commented on it, you know. But today, you know, that motor group that rejects Australians, they're Polish, and get around on motorbikes, and just get over it, you know, get over it. Just treat us like good customers, and we're not that different. You don't know what history's like. You know, and you might be hurting your best friend or your brother or your cousin or something. Anyway, I got my pasta back. Sorry, I was a bit hungry.